This video is all about some changes coming in Cricut Design Space. I found some images that have phrases about change just to inspire all of you to get used to this change. You won't see this automatically. If you want to jump into the beta version like I have, what you're going to do is go to your settings, which is this three little lines. I like to call them the hamburger or sandwich because it looks like a stacked up hamburger. Click on that and go to settings. Under settings, there's a live one, which is what I used to be on, but I clicked over to beta. So if you're in beta, that's where you're going to see all these changes. The first change we're going to see is when we click on something and go over here to the layers panel, it looks different. It used to be group and ungroup were two separate buttons. Now they combined it. So if the things are already grouped, it will ungroup them. But if they're separate images, it would group them back together. So instead of going back and forth between two buttons, it's all in one. That's kind of nice. Duplicate is right here along with delete. You can still right click and duplicate or delete also. I tend to be a right clicker instead of going over to the buttons. One thing that changed that I'm not a fan of, but I'm sure I'll get used to it, is we used to be able to see over here what things were set to, as in, is it a cut file or a draw file, or is it flattened and it's going to be print then cut? So now in order to do that and see what operation your file is, you're going to have to go over here to operation. So we used to be able to go here, but we had the option of seeing it over here just for a second visual. So then if I want to draw this with the pen, I would just change it to that. So less visibility to how your file is set up. I'm going to just change that back to cut. I am going to hide this one, and you can see that little eyeball used to always be visible and it would have a line through it or not. Now it's only visible if I kind of hover over it. So if I wanted to, let's first ungroup these. So this part is just the change is beautiful, and this part is the beautiful and the butterfly. So one thing I've noticed is you can right click on a layer and rename it. And if I wanted to just delete that, so then this way I would remember that this is just the word change is. So that if I change the color of it, I remember, oh yeah, that's just those words. And I could change this one to rename and be beautiful. So I can give my own descriptions as to what this is. This would also be nice if I was doing things of different colored layers. So if I wanted to duplicate this and then change this to red and contour I'm going to hide all contours and then do that. There we go. And then I'm just going to turn the petals on. I'm not going to do the whole flower, but this is just to give you the idea. So if I wanted to call this one Rose petals. That helps me to remember what portion of my design this is. This could also be great for if you're doing shaker cards and there's a rectangle and you want to mark it that it's the piece that cuts of acetate so that you have a little reminder. The next new button I want to talk about is the combine button. This is located where weld used to be. To show all the different options that are in combine, I set up some different hearts. And I'm just going to take all of these orange ones and overlap them onto the red ones just slightly. So if I pick just these top two and go to combined, you'll see there's still a weld. So I can weld just like I used to, and it will combine the two of them, remove the cut line, and put them both on the same colored layer. So if I take the second two and unite them, basically the same thing as weld, only check this out. You can undo unite. So weld, you can see the weld result here. Weld is stuck. You can never unweld unless you haven't saved that you can undo. But unite, you can undo the unite. Then if I take these two, let's say subtract. So it's going to subtract one from the other. So you can see this is kind of like what slice does, only it removed the slicing object. So you can see it cut out what was overlapping. So then the next one would be intersect. So basically it removed everything except for what was overlapping. Exclude is the opposite of intersect. So it just excluded out what was overlapping. I am going to do a new cheat sheet just for the combined functions and showing things like this so that you have examples of how the results will look with using each option. You can use this new combine feature to do some cool things. For example, I inserted the word mom and then I added two offsets. So now if I select everything and go combine and use exclude, see how it removed things? So now I could put this whole design on a shirt and the color of the shirt's going to come through. I like how it removed things instead of using slice where I would have to delete things on my own. The other nice thing, slice, you could only select two things at once, where this I was able to select all three layers and then say exclude to get the end results. Let's try using some different shapes and images. So if I have a heart, I put this design over it, and then I select both and go to combine and say intersect. It leaves the confetti in the shape of a heart where they intersected. Doing it the opposite way, using exclude, it's going to cut the confetti right out of the center of your heart. Subtract is going to cut the confetti out of the heart and get rid of all that confetti around the outside. So this can give you more ways to manipulate your designs. Here's another fun feature on the new layers panel. These are two separate images. And if I use this little arrow, I can collapse so I don't see all the separate pieces. But I can also take this Mickey one and drag it up, and now it's inside the mini one because I can tell by that little dark arrow, dark line, sorry. Now you can see I combined them both. So now it's almost like it grouped them together just by sliding and dragging. And now they're in one group. And I could even go to my images and find the word boo. Ooh, let's see, back to images. There we go. Let's just use that one. If I put that right in between Minnie and Mickey, like that, what I used to do is select all of these and then group them together. But now I can just drag this into the Minnie and Mickey combined one, and now it's all grouped together that way. If I want to separate these, I'll just go to ungroup, and then I can click on each one of these separately. And you can see on the Minnie Mouse one, it even ungrouped down to the layers, where before I would have to ungroup the whole image and then each individual grouping within that group. So, hey, it's easier now. I hope this video helped you to navigate some of the changes in Cricut Design Space. I will be doing a whole bunch of shorter videos that probably will end up on my YouTube or in my Instagram Reels. So make sure you're following me on all social media. I'll drop my links in the description below. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know what's confusing to you, and I can help guide you. I will also be adding these changes to my Teach Me Cricut Design Space online course, which means if you've already purchased the course, as soon as I get the updates in there, the next time you open that course, it'll be there, just right there waiting for you. If you have not purchased the course and you're feeling confused about your Cricut, make sure to head over to seanmosh.com, click on classes, and purchase your course today to get started. Thanks! Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I love to hear from you.